Welcome back, friends. Recently, a longtime fan asked an important question that caught my eye and left me thinking about my own feelings towards Meri Brown from Sister Wives. Why does everyone hate Meri? The fan writes. We, as an audience, obviously have our own opinions on Meri, but why do you think the other Sister Wives, besides Robyn and kids, dislike her? Others disliked her before the catfish situation, and there is never really any answers when the family discusses it. All right, friends, I'm ready. Let's go down this rabbit hole.
My name is Cody Brown. I have 3 awesome wives. Meri.
Because love should be multiplied, not divided.
When he is ornery with another one, he gets weird with me. And I don't want that, you know, and so it's very important for him to have a good relationship, and the sexual nature of it is definitely part of that good relationship. And when he's off with somebody else, I just don't think about that part of it. You know, why would I want to do that to myself? You know, I mean, they do that, I do that, and that's okay.
History of the first wife. Meri Brown's mother, Bonnie, was a member of the LDS faith, but according to Meri, spent years researching the concept of plural marriage. Meri claims that it was her mother who forced her father to move with the family to Utah so they could more easily pursue the doctrine of plural marriage, and he agreed. When Meri was 5, her father took on a second wife. The second wife only stayed for about 2 years and then decided to leave the relationship. When Meri was 10, her father took on another second wife. This time, his new bride came from a large plural family. Meri was excited, and she writes that she looked forward to having additional brothers and sisters. Meri's father ultimately had a total of 5 wives and 28 children. Now, admittedly, Meri had many perks and benefits from the fact that she was the daughter of her father's first and legal marriage. For example, in public, Meri's father claimed her, as well as her full-blooded siblings, while children from all the other wives had to hide the identity of their father. Meri and Cody met in their parents' church, the Apostolic Brethren. Meri was said to be very shy and innocent. She came from a plural family. She was interested in Cody, but only got to know him because she ended up forming a relationship with Cody's sister. Cody was said to be very outgoing, and when he took a special interest in Meri, it really made her feel good because she often felt ignored by guys in the church in the past. In the Sister Wives book, she wrote, "He was always laughing and smiling. He was so positive," when discussing Cody. Cody was known for high energy, and the spotlight was always around him. Meri expressed how she enjoyed the attention she got once she started spending time with Cody. Meri was the first one to express her interest in having a relationship with Cody, but it's interesting that Cody stated at the time he was too busy and didn't want to get involved with any one girl. It took a little while, but they kept spending time around each other in the church, and Cody promised his mom he would only be with Meri if he really took the relationship seriously. 1 month into their courtship, Cody proposed to Meri. They married when she was 19 and he was 22. Allegedly, the couple was happy and even described their lives as being a blast when they were monogamous. But they both knew they already had future plans of taking on additional wives. Fast forward to the first episodes of Sister Wives, when Meri and Cody are introducing their family and just started to talk about taking on wife number 4, who we will all come to know as Robyn Brown. We've seen so much happen with Meri since then. How do you guys feel about her? Is she anyone's favorite wife? We know she went through a pretty extreme catfishing situation which ended in public humiliation. Her own child has grown up, moved out, and moved on from polygamy. She bought a historic house and runs it as a bed and breakfast. She sells LuLaRoe and allegedly makes a lot of money doing it. On the show, it appears as though she remains good friends with Robyn, but struggles to have any positive interactions with Janelle and Christine. Here's what fans and critics had to say when asked, what makes Meri so hateable? I don't blame her for looking for love and affection from somewhere else. Too bad it blew up in her face instead of being anything real. I would laugh my ass off if she fell in love with someone else and told Cody and Robyn to go F themselves. The fact that anyone thinks her trying to find affection elsewhere breaks some moral code is missing the mark. Just like Christine said, you get to have a functioning marriage with someone else and I get to have nothing. Cody was like, yeah, what's the problem? This double standard is disgusting, and they treat Meri like absolute crap to the point it's abusive. I wish Meri would get back on dating sites or something to try to find a genuine connection with someone. Another fan writes, I agree, but it's not like Meri can't leave. Christine did, so why can't Meri? It's because if she left, she wouldn't get to play victim anymore, her favorite hobby. I think the issue is Meri is brainwashed. Like, no disrespect to her mom, may she rest in peace, but this lifestyle was ingrained in her head since she was young, and not even the best example of it. She also was going to leave, and that blew up in her face. She's definitely not perfect, but it's not always so easy for someone to just leave a situation. Yes, and people say she plays the victim, but praise Christine and Janelle. Not that I dislike them, but I also like Meri. So going off of everything you said, she has to sit and watch 3 other people come into that family. Christine only had to endure one wife and was jealous. Imagine going through it 3 times. I have more sympathy for Meri than any of the other wives. I wish she would just leave finally. Not only that, but Meri has also had to endure watching those other women knock out babies like it's an Olympic competition, while she's dealing with fertility issues. Fertility issues cause a lot of pain, but Meri gets accused of being jealous by fans. All the other wives still have kids at home. Meanwhile, Meri's got one grown daughter who's an asshole to her and sides with her father, the narcissist. I don't dislike Meri. I think she's pathetic and I wish she'd grow a spine, but I have a lot of empathy for her. I just wish she'd leave Cody and get a real life and some happiness. Cody just makes up his own religious rules as he goes. None of them actually benefit anyone but his selfish adolescent impulses or men in general. Why anyone would sign up for that with him is way outside of anything I can comprehend. How and why Meri is obsessed with him is just so bizarre. He's horrible to her and horrible in general. It's been years and years and years. It's not even like he's leading her on. He is openly disgusted by her and makes no effort to hide it. He never just reaches out to talk to her or say hi. He cannot stand her, and her constant desperate pining away makes it so much worse and a million times less attractive. Robyn eats it up and tells Meri insane things like, see, he's trying, when he's definitely not, and she knows it. She just keeps Meri around so she has someone to gloat in front of. I just feel sad for Meri. Meri wanted to have more children, but she couldn't. Meri wanted to be closer to her sister wives, but they didn't click. Meri wanted to be loved by a man. Instead, she got catfished. She probably has a lot of bitterness over not being able to have more kids and let resentment get in the way of her relationships with family members. I almost got the feeling in early seasons that even though the kids were raised together, Leon was kind of sheltered. I don't hate her. I feel sorry for her, and that annoys me because she is selling herself so short by staying in this loveless marriage on the off chance that Cody might glance in her direction. I hate Cody and what he's done to her. She's worthy of so much more. This is probably going to get long, but here you go. Let's start from the beginning. Janelle and Meri's issues started before Janelle married Cody. Cody took their relationship from friendship to courtship with little to no input from Meri. Then he tried to marry Janelle on Meri's birthday. The only reason he moved the wedding date is because his mom told him he needed to, so that didn't exactly start off the family on the best footing. Then Janelle got pregnant very quickly, while Meri had been trying for years at this point. This probably sent Meri in a depression, making an already dominant personality even harder to deal with. Cody stuck them in a tiny home, a trailer, then left them there to deal with each other while he traveled for work. Meri tried to run the house her way, the biggest issue being the kitchen. She wanted it cleaned after dinner, while Janelle would leave the cleaning till morning so she could relax at night. Meri had a very dominant personality, and instead of Janelle learning how to speak up for herself and both learning how to communicate, she blames Meri for being abusive. Christine enters the marriage and is a bit of a peacemaker, but she ends up pregnant quickly, which is probably another stab in the kidney to Meri. It also doesn't help that Cody kept moving them around during this time, so they were not able to get a solid foundation for how to run a family. Let's jump forward to Lehigh. Janelle is mad now because Meri won't allow her kids to use her house as a hallway to Christine's. I don't blame Meri for this. I wouldn't want the kids using my house like that either. Janelle complains that the kids would have to put on their shoes and coats and walk outside to get to Christine's. Heaven forbid she actually have to mother her own children just enough to get them to free daycare. No, she'd rather blame Meri. During their time in Lehigh, it's mentioned that Christine and Meri had a good relationship for many years, and they had a falling out over how Meri disciplined the kids. I could see McKelty, Peyton, and Gwen being a handful, then toss Garrison and Gabe into the mix, and it could be wild. I'm sure Meri tried to correct some of their behaviors with a good old tongue lashing, like she did when they were picking on Robyn's kids later on, and maybe even trying to get some boundaries and handing out punishments, restrictions for bad behavior. This does not seem to be how Janelle or Christine parent, so they probably took offense to that parenting style. Christine also later admits that she suffered from PPD and that sometimes kept her from interacting with the family and trying to keep up their relationships. Now onto finances, which I think they actually do have a right to be upset about. They always talk about splitting the pot evenly, which allowed Meri to have everything she needed for her and Leon while the others struggle. This should have never happened. It should not have been equal. It should not have been an equal split when one person is a 2-person household and the others are 5-6 people households. Christine and Janelle should have gotten a larger percentage of the pie, and they have every right to be upset about that. Once the TLC gravy train started rolling in, an equal split is more logical. In Vegas, Meri got a large rental that was farther away when she probably could have sucked it up and took the smaller place closer to Robyn. They were desperate for money at this point and trying to find homes to buy, but instead of doing what was best for the overall family, she put her wants before everyone else's needs, even though they all knew this would be a temporary living situation. The houses in the cul-de-sac are irrelevant because they only had so many floor plans to choose from, and yes, Meri wanted upgrades, but overall, it was less than $5,000 over budget, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. The OG wives dislike Meri because they feel she is controlling and demanding. She took more than she needed from the family budget and tried to discipline the kids in a way their own mothers wouldn't. The kids dislike her because she was strict and had certain expectations she expected them to meet, and she didn't just let them have fun and be wild and do as they please. I don't know the details, but I think she had some sort of conflict with Maddie as well. If I recall, she also wanted more resources for herself and for Leon. I think Meri felt that resources should be divided by households' wives and not take into consideration how many people were in each household. Hence, wanting a better, more expensive education for Leon and the same ginormous house in Vegas as everyone else, even though it was only her and Leon. It could be that the other kids resented this. The way the show has been produced, probably driven somewhat by Cody, to place Meri in a negative light by exploiting the differences between her organized personality with the laissez-faire personalities of Janelle and Christine. One of the examples that really struck me was the argument over Meri's Vegas house and the wet bar French door windows. I looked at what they bought and sold each house for and the lots of each. It's all public data, so it's immeasurable data. The price difference at purchase between Meri's house and Christine's house, with the lowest purchase price, was less than $5,000. The other two houses cost more, so the difference between Meri, Janelle, and Robyn's houses was even less. For custom homes, that is a small difference. Meri's lot was arguably the least desirable because the lot backed into a large street, while Janelle and Christine's backed onto a side street, while Robyn had the biggest lot, biggest house, and her lot backed into another lot that wasn't built up at the time. The show made it seem Meri was hugely over budget, stealing resources from the other wives and being selfish. Also, she had to work and pay for the house. For Janelle to imply that Meri didn't need the house to me is an indication of their conflict. Janelle has enough financial knowledge to know house values are determined by area comps. The closer the house, the more applicable the comp. So it isn't good for the value of the other homes for Meri's home to be significantly lower in value. That would drag their values down some. If Janelle wants to get Meri's goat, all she has to do is remind Meri that she doesn't need a large home because she only has one child, and therefore won't have a ton of grandchildren, while Janelle already has 3 and may wind up with 12 or 18 grandchildren in total. Okay, so this is what, a lot of people had to say when faced with the question, why don't people like Meri? And I wanted to talk a little bit about my own opinion regarding what's happened with Meri within that family. If you've watched my channel for a long time, you probably know that I think a lot of what we see on TV on the Sister Wives show has become very fake over the past couple of years. I do think it was more real in the beginning and pretty real up until the time that they left Las Vegas. So Meri is definitely not my favorite wife. I think Christine was always my favorite for different reasons. But the biggest issue I've always had with Meri is this. When the show first started, I thought what I was looking at was a family in which Janelle and Christine were fairly happy. They were getting along, they were living together and sharing some of the parenting responsibilities. Christine especially seemed pretty happy in her role, and I felt that Janelle and Christine seemed to have stronger relationships with Cody. To me, it appeared as though Meri's relationship with Cody and the other sister wives was what was struggling. So, from my point of view, I always felt that Meri had pursued a fourth wife and pursued Robyn out of her desperation to bring someone up into the family who would destroy some of the happiness and peace and positive interactions that were going on between Cody, Janelle, and Christine. She wanted to feel better about herself. She wanted to see Christine maybe get punished a little bit for taking away some of Cody's attention, affection, and love. And she found what she thought was the perfect person in Robyn, because Robyn was desirable to Cody in many ways, but Robyn was also very desirable to Meri. Meri liked her a lot, and I think Meri also saw that Robyn desperately needed help. Robyn was desperate. She had several young kids. She didn't have any money. She was in debt. So there was a lot going on. She needed a good family. She wanted a good family. She wanted someone who was going to take care of her. And I really think Meri probably also used that to her advantage. Like, she wanted Robyn to be her new best friend, to come into the family, sweep Cody off his feet, be her best friend, and kind of consolidate power among herself and Robyn. And I think that that's a big part of why she pursued Robyn for Cody. I honestly don't believe that Cody has it in him to really pursue additional wives without Meri kind of setting that off and being involved in some of it. I don't think that he'll do it again. I don't think he'll get a fifth wife unless someone like Meri or Robyn goes to pursue another wife for him. I honestly think he's too tired. He's got too much going on to really, he's getting older. He's getting more tired. And he was, even at the start of Sister Wives, they had a lot of kids. They were financially burdened. I don't think he would have pursued the fourth wife if Meri hadn't been jumping in to act as she says, Meri says, act as bait to reel Robyn in. So a big part of the reason why I have a lot of dislike for Meri is I feel like she was a huge catalyst and supporter of gaining a fourth wife into the family, and that's really what caused the breakdown of Christine and Cody's relationship. It also led down the road that we've gotten to now, where Meri ended up chatting with someone online and getting catfished. Some of these things, may have happened eventually anyway. But I do think that Meri's jealousy led her to really push for this fourth wife. And even now, she has a lot of anger at Christine for daring to leave a really bad situation, because Meri never was able to leave, and she wants Christine to sit in the manure and just kind of have to stew with all the jealousy and rage and unhappiness, just like she has for so long. Even the kids can feel it. Like, we were happier before Robyn came into the relationship, because Robyn's kids never really integrated in with the other kids. I would say that she's not part of the family. She's the second family. Meri, I feel like Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Cody did have an operating family. Maybe it was very dysfunctional, but they were raising their kids together. They were helping each other. They were interdependent upon one another. The kids were also very entwined with one another. And Robyn came in, and Robyn's family became like a second family. They were never part of the first family. They were never entwined or interactive with them. And I think that that's probably really hurt the kids in many ways. And now that Cody is so distant from them and still so devoted to Robyn, even though the kids are saying, like we have Peyton saying, well, I can't blame him, he found his true love, it's got to be painful for them in many ways. So I want to know, and I'm going to feature some of your responses down below. If you leave me a comment, I'll make another video. I want to know what you have to say about Meri. Who's your favorite wife? What are the things that I didn't mention in this video about Meri that you wish I would talk about? If Meri is your favorite wife, please let me know why. So comment below and let me know what I got right and wrong in this video. I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope you take some time to head down your own rabbit hole.